Sup, you fools! Welcome, it's Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. We are here for yet another episode of MATTITUDE, the Eurovision live stream, where we did talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision, and of course, answer your question. And I hope you all had a good week, and a lot has happened. We all know that Junior Eurovision took place last week, and we do have a winner. There has been a little bit of backlash, as with every Eurovision, I guess, but that's all in the past, because now it's all about what's going to happen in the year 2021, and this is what I'm here about to talk you through. So I want to welcome everyone in the chat already. I see a bunch of folks in there. Thank you for joining, and those who watch this at a later point, welcome to you as well. Hope to see you during the next live stream so we can discuss this. So as always, just a quick rundown on how things work here. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff, and then at the end of each segment, I'll give you the opportunity to ask a few questions, and I hope you ask some, and at the very end, I'm opening it up to general Q&A. So if I don't get to your questions right away, there's always at the very end where we can go through stuff. How does that sound? All right, we got a little bit of stuff to cover here, so let's jump right into it. And yesterday, some news have dropped, and that is, to some more significant, maybe others don't care, but the EBU and the Dutch broadcaster have revealed the logo for the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest. And we're all very excited. I'm going to show it to you right now. They brought their best and most knowledgeable team in there to come up with a unique presentation, and if you compare it to the one that we had before, it's nothing like it. Here's a comparison. Well, wait a second. They do look quite alike, right? Of course, we all knew that was going to happen. They previously announced that they will update the 2020 logo, but will stay within its own kind of framework to not completely throw away the idea that they initially had. So the logo that you see on the left is the 2020 logo, and the one on the right, that's going to be the new current one for the 2021 year. And now you may be asking, what's going on there? So they had different approaches as far as what these logos represent, and there is a video on the official Eurovision.tv channel that you can watch. But basically, there is a difference. The logo right now depicts the contest centering on Rotterdam, which is the center of the graphic, if you will, the visual representation of the distance of each of Europe's capital cities from the Dutch host city of 2021. So let me bring up something else here, and to kind of give you a little bit more of an understanding exactly how they came about here. So this is the concept. All parts of the symbol, you can see the explanation, are made up of two colors of the flags of the participating countries. The country's part position is determining by the angle and distance from its capital towards Rotterdam. It is interesting because, as we all know, Netherlands is basically as far west, or almost as far west as you can go on the continental Europe. So the vast majority of countries are to the east or southeast of the Netherlands. A few exceptions, as you can see. So the bunch of countries to the east, and then we have little tiny Iceland all the way up in the northwest, and a little bit of, west we have Ireland and UK, but they're short because they're right there, and then Portugal and Spain a little bit down southwest, and then everything else to the east, basically. So it is definitely a different feel from what we've had before. So the question is, there was a lot of thought put behind it. In case you know, the 2020 version had a little bit, it was more of a timeline. So it started with the countries that debuted at the contest in 1956 at the inception of the contest. And then as they were joining, they were added in a circle. And then Australia was basically the loner in that one because, they joined in 2015. All other countries have joined way before that. So it is the new logo. And let me bring up the logo one more time here, just so we can see the difference here. I'm always looking at it. The 2020 was a little bit more full, I guess. It takes a lot more space because it's almost like a more visible circle, while the 2021 is just like, it's open, very open to the west and north, as I explained, for the reasons, because they don't have any countries there. So I thought that was an interesting approach. Now, I don't necessarily dislike the idea of what they're doing. It just looks a little empty in some parts, but I am very, very curious how that's going to look with the graphics. Now, some people can say, because one thing is also throwing me off, is the fact that each country is represented by two colors. So when you see the Icelandic little bar going all the way up northwest, it's white and blue, and I don't necessarily think of white and blue as the Icelandic colors, right? Because they have three colors, they have red with it. So if we just see white and blue, it throws me off. And Russia, I think, only has two colors as well, and that throws me off, white and red. And I'm like, that looks more like Poland more than anything to me. So with some countries it works. Portugal, red and green are the two prominent colors. Spain, yellow and red. So that makes sense. But some of them, I'm like, I don't quite get it. So in this one, just like the first one, it's very busy. So, but the thing is, I love the idea of the logo. Now the execution, it may work better with the graphics and on screen, but just looking at it, it seems a little, like it was just thrown at you. But I'm not trying to be negative because they put a lot of thought behind this and I want to give them a chance. The first initial reaction to it's like, okay, looks a little busy, but I have a feeling it's going to look amazing when they do the postcards and all the graphics. It's probably going to spin, or they're going to extend the lines. So I think that is certainly a lot of potential there to make it look nice. But I would love to hear from you as well. What do you think about the logo? In the chat, make sure you do at ESC United so I can know that you are talking to me, and I will point them out. As far as if you ask me which one I like better, 2020 or 2021, my initial reaction would be saying 2020, but only because it's a little less busy, even though it's still busy, but it's a little bit more full. I just have, it's weird to me to have this logo where there's so much emptiness on the left and there's just one random bar for tiny little Iceland. Iceland gets all the attention and everybody else is like, we're here too. So that is a little surprising to me. But I do appreciate creativity and the thought that was put behind it. So I am not trying to poo-poo it too much as of right now. So, but someone's actually asking in the chat, has the EBU confirmed when ESC is taking place next year? Yes, that all has been decided. In case you don't know, the Eurovision Song Contest 2021 will take place in Rotterdam. May 18th, 2021 will be the first semi. May 20th will be the second, and the grand final on the 22nd, if that was your question. Jean-Baptiste Chopin says, for me, a logo is supposed to be simpler. I hear what you're saying. I'm with you on board on that. It is getting a little busy, but again, I sound like a broken record. It may not be like immediately eye-popping when you look at it, but the potential is there to come up with something quite impressive. Euro Sabelli said, I love it. It reminds me of De Stijl, a Dutch art style. It also reminds me of Russian art style, which name I forgot. And I think I hear what you're saying. It looks very contemporary. I'm usually not a contemporary person. Like, I'm not gravitating towards that kind of art. I like modern, but contemporary is different. You know, when you look at a contemporary house, it's usually like, what is this? But again, comes down to personal taste. Overall, I like the idea and the thought that was put behind it, and that is the most important thing in my view. And another thing I just want to point out, there is already more, a few days ago, they gave us more information, not just about the logo, but how they are going to do the postcard. And the postcards in 2021, in case you don't know what postcards are for the newer fans, these are the clips that are being played right before a country and act performs. It's like usually just like 30 seconds long or whatever, or 40 seconds, and it gives the acts the ability to set up the stage real quick, and we get to know the artist or the country a little bit. And they had to be a little bit more creative this time around. So it's all about a tiny house. What does that mean? So it's what it's going to look like, at least in the abstract, if you will. They're going to put this up, and the postcards, as you know, usually involved the artists to travel to the host nation. So like in 2020, they were supposed to travel to Rotterdam, or to Netherlands, I should say, and shoot their postcards. Now with the current pandemic, COVID-19, travel is currently not an option, certainly not at this point, so they will all record their videos from home, and instead they will put the clips and the snippets into the little tiny house that you see here, and the house will then show up in certain parts of the country. Could be in Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Friesland, Utrecht, wherever it may be, they're going to put that there. So they have a nice workaround to not add any exposure, and the 2021 head of show, Gerben Bakker, also explained the concept in more detail, saying the house is a central theme precisely because our living rooms have never been more important than this year. And at that same time, we open our home to the rest of the world. And for these tiny houses, we are looking for unique locations in the Netherlands. The most beautiful and special places in our country that we can portray spectacularly. Once again, a lot of thought put behind it, and for that I am thankful. And then he continues to say the locations may be well-known locations, but we are certainly open to as yet undiscovered gems that our country has to offer. Because the recordings will be shot wide and big, we must have enough space around the house to be able to place it and film it. So that, to me, it's a pretty clever idea in my view. I am excited that I love it when they put thoughts behind it, and especially this year, you had to be so creative. Do you know what I mean? You had to be really thinking, okay, we can't travel. We don't want to make it too heavy, right? Yes, the pandemic, everything sucks. No, they came up with a way to kind of like, hey, yes, you're in your own little house, your own little safe bubble, but I'm still putting you here in our country. I showcase the nation, and this is how we do it. I like the idea. I would love to hear from you as well at ESC United in the chat, how they executed this. I mean, we haven't seen the full execution yet, but based from what I'm hearing, they are already on the right track. I love it when they're really doing a good job. Postcards, I like it usually when they definitely put some focus not just on the country, which is important because, you know, it's tourism and you do want to highlight the country a little bit, but at the same time, the artists should also be the center point, the focus of the video. My favorite ones were probably still to this date the 2014 postcards where the artists were in the country and they created their own national flags, like for Rubik's Cubes or flowers, or they do a painting, and it was so creative and so cool. I love those. That was probably the most clever ones, and I'm a big fan. So, yeah. This is definitely something else that I'm really excited about, and we're moving on. We are moving on. There's so much more that happened, by the way, besides that. So, in case you're caring about music, and that's what we all care about, right? A few days ago, Eden Alen from Israel, she was internally chosen because she won in 2020, and they decided to carry over. They are working hard to find the right song for Israel at the contest, and they have finally put forward 9 songs already. That's a lot. I didn't expect that many songs for our listening pleasure. And you can go to the Israeli website. Now keep in mind, a lot of them are geo-blocked. Some of them are becoming available on YouTube. If you have a VPN, check that out. But there are 9 songs. They're all demo versions, and 9 songs is like almost a whole album. So you have to be a little bit more open-minded when you listen to the songs because they're not complete. They're not full. But they are they are available to your listening pleasure. Those who have listened to it already, don't spoil it for me just yet because I will listen to them today. I will do a reaction video for that as well. And this is a good reminder. If you're not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure to do so because you'll get notified, especially if you hit that notification bell. That always lets you know that I am putting up another video. And so I will listen to them today. That there will be still narrowing down, so we'll see how that's going to go, but at least we will have a little bit of an answer. The songs are mostly catered to the Israeli crowd in the voting. They will be able to vote in the polls there, and I don't even know if people outside of Israel can vote. Maybe if you have a VPN for their favorites. It's still going to be open for another 8-9 days, something like that, the voting window, and then we'll go from there and see what songs will stay on top. But if you want to check them out, please go ahead and do so, and I am going to do that tonight. Well, it's only 11:18 here in LA. I know it's already evening in Europe, so I still have all of the day ahead of me. So that's basically what is going on. I want to also talk a little bit about some other things that are happening. You know, you watched those, I should say, of you who have watched Junior Eurovision. You know that a country that is not in the adult version is actually in the junior version. Actually, there are a few of them, but this year in particular, I'm referring to Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan has taken part in junior now 3 times, and every single year they have delivered 2 second places and then a 4th place, I think. So close to winning on several occasions. And they are so eager to actually join the adult version. And there have been apparently some rumors out there that they have actually, the Kabar agency basically saying that there are a lot of people petitioning for its participation to Eurovision. Now keep in mind, the fans are definitely in favor of it. I think the vast majority of Eurovision fans are saying, let them in, let them in. And they have been lobbying the Kabar agency, the largest, if one of the largest, potentially the largest, I'm not even sure, networks in the country to get them in there. The EBU until now has been saying, no, this is not going to happen. They're not a full member and yada, yada, yada. But they are saying everyone is talking about Kazakhstan, and what's the saying is Karat made the whole world talk about Kazakhstan already for the 2nd time. Last year it was Ersan Maxim, and this time with the girl Karakat, and the results of those 2 beautiful performances appear to be that European countries issued petitions saying that Kazakhstan should start participating in the adult Eurovision. Now, one of the big things that confuses me about that statement, and what does that mean, petitioning? If I am here on camera telling you Kazakhstan should be in the adult version of Eurovision, I guess I'm technically petitioning, but that is not, it's a more passive form of it. It's not like I'm writing letters to the EBU saying, please let Kazakhstan in. I mean, letters, who's still writing letters these days? But the point is, it seems a little bit more, of course, a push by the networks to kind of insert themselves. Hey, everyone wants us to join, let us in. Now, the EBU, as pointed out, has been hesitant and said it's currently not an option due to the reasons I just mentioned. They're not a full member. They're only associate member. But that didn't stop Australia from joining, and you can use and apply the same logic here. Now, granted, Australia has been broadcasting the Eurovision shows since the early 80s. So they had like a 30-year head start. So I don't think we should wait 30 years for Kazakhstan to join. But I do think in this day and age, it would be a great addition. And I would be very much in favor of bringing them on board. I would love to hear from you as well. Are you with me? Are you on the same page? They should join us, or maybe not. At ESC United, make sure to put that in there. And I want to hear. But yeah, I am officially endorsing Kazakhstan at the Eurovision Song Contest, the adult version. Join us. That was the slogan 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So it still applies. Now, I was kind of hoping when they released the logo, I just showed to you earlier, that maybe randomly they did put up the Kazakhstan flag in it, but when I didn't see it, I was definitely disappointed. I was like, darn it! I was hoping it was going to be in there. I was like, maybe that's going to be the surprise announcement, but that didn't happen. That did not happen, people. I'm very, very disappointed. But I will promote them and I will support them until the cows come home, because I want Kazakhstan every single year they deliver. They know they take it seriously, and I'm not saying let every country in, but if there's like some connection there and some excitement, let them in. Let them in. It would be such a big deal for them, right? Right. Right. I see most people in the chat are with me on that, which makes me very, very happy. Linnea brings, how can they join the Junior Eurovision and not the Adult Contest as well? How come? I would love them to join in the near future. And that is a very good point that you're raising there. It is basically up to the EBU. The EBU technically has the ability to invite any associated member, right? We go back to Australia. They technically don't have a right, and they seem to forget about that, because initially in 2015, they said that Australia would take part as a one-off participation, and I laughed at them saying, one-off my ass. This was obviously going to be a permanent thing. They wanted Australia to join, and they did it. They made an exception for them. So they can make any exception they want. They did it with Kazakhstan. They've done it with other countries. Look at Wales. They're taking part as well in junior, or not this year, but in previous years. They can have Scotland take part, like all the countries within the UK, because the UK as a whole is not taking part. So they can do that kind of stuff. They're not necessarily bound to any specific rules. They just have to get it for the reference group and all of that stuff, and then they do it. They can change rules. They can make exceptions. So it's an excuse when they're saying, oh, well, they're an associate member, so we can't. I'm like, not falling for it. EBU. EBU. Do it. I want you to do it. That is, at least my opinion. Olivia MacArthur saying one of Kazakhstan's biggest stars, Dimash Kudaibergen, said he'd love to represent Kazakhstan in the contest. So there's certainly not a lack of interest in the country, as you can hear. And if they bring in big names, that would be great promotion for them anyway. And I will say the EBU should... My first priority with the EBU is focus on getting countries back. Those countries in Europe that are not taking part, rather than just being like, okay, bye, Slovakia, Monaco, Luxembourg, those countries. I understand they're not quite as eager right now, but the EBU is not really trying either. So I want them to go for them first, and if there's plenty of space, then bring them in. Bring Kazakhstan in. It's just that simple. At least that is my opinion. So anyway, more to come on that. It's highly, highly unlikely at this point that Kazakhstan will be in next year's Eurovision, but maybe 2022. I have a feeling it is going to happen, and it's just a matter of time. And I think I'm impatient. You're all impatient. I can hear that already in the chat, so whoop-de-doo. Okay, so just real quick, the next thing, if you love music, make sure, Eurovision music, because I think you do, because otherwise why are you listening to me? Albania is approaching. I mean, not Albania, the country, but the music, the Albanian show, Festivale e Këngës. And it's usually the first show to take place. It's always in December, and we weren't sure how it's going to work with COVID, but they have set dates. December 17th and December 18th will be the two semis, and then the next day, December 19th, will be the final. So we'll have 3 shows in Albania, and we have 26 acts. I had to think there for a second. 26 acts, I think, in the running, and I listened to all of them, and I reacted to all of them. The reaction video is on my YouTube channel. Make sure to check them out. And then yesterday, I believe, or was it earlier? Well, it was technically earlier for you today, but my yesterday. I released my personal favorite. So watch that video as well. If you don't want to know who I favor, be quiet, do a la 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 right now. But the video's up. I have a few favorites, and I'm really excited. Now, there are some news as far as what's going to happen to one of the acts. Hopefully, it's not going to be an issue. But Mangolo Nalbani, Manjola, I never pronounce the name. As you can see on screen here, she is one of the participants, and she was diagnosed with COVID a few days ago, and hope she's back on track, recovery. We still have 12 days to actually recover, and hopefully it'll go quick, and so that she'll be able to actually do the show. And she has to be, of course, tested and make sure that she is virus free and all of that. But it would be such a shame if she would not be able to make it, or if any of the other acts ends up getting COVID. That would be very, very sad. But I hope everyone will be able to take part. And make sure to mark your calendars if you haven't done so already. And we will be doing live streams here as well, reaction videos, and we'll talk about it. I wouldn't mind going into the songs right now, but I don't want to spoil my ranking video. But it was actually a pretty good year. When I first listened to it, I was like, okay, there's good stuff in there. But the problem is with Albania, every single time you have to be open-minded, because they're all demo versions, at least for our taste, right? Because that's why they usually get a revamp, except for like a few exceptions. So that was the issue. You always have to get past the fairly meh backtrack. But you can still figure out, okay, this song has potential. This has a great melody. This has a nice punch and hook, and it's just a standout song. And there are a bunch of them out there for that. So, yes, I am excited about Albania. I need to get into the Eurovision spirit of things, and like a week before Christmas, for those who celebrate it, it's always just like my pre-Christmas excitement. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, it's just a Eurovision thing, so we're still excited, right? So let me know in the chat at ESC United, who are your favorites in Festivale Ikengis, if you have listened to the songs. If you have not, then don't bother. Albania's had a decent run now at Eurovision the past couple of years. I mean, 2020 we cannot count. 2 qualifications in a row, 2 great songs. And it's always this thing with Albania. Some Albanians get so mad at me, because both years, 2018 and 2019, I had them both, I think, outside of my top 10 predictions. Not because I don't like them, because I thought they were great songs, but I thought they were on the edge, like borderline qualifiers. So each year I said, okay, they're not going to qualify, and then they did qualify, and Albanians are like, see, you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, it could have gone either way, especially last year was a pretty close qualification. But I'm glad, because both songs deserved it. I was just worried that people would not get it as much, because it is a very distinct sound that may often not work with the average Western ear. But that is why I appreciate it. And there are a lot of songs in the running this year that are kind of falling into that category. But that's why I want them to send stuff like that, because it just enriches the contest a whole lot. Stephen Kendall is saying he loves Miroud. I will tell you, he's definitely in my top 10 in the video. And someone says, Olivia says, I love Ines. I hope if she wins, she'll keep the song in Albanian. She's also in my top 10. I will not say where. Watch the video. I agree with you. But the thing is, I always encourage Albanians to keep the song in Albanian. But I'm not butthurt if they do switch it. As far as Ines' song is concerned, it is less ethnic. It's a little less traditional. It's a little bit more like pop. So this song I could actually see work in English as well. While Miroud's song, for instance, I could not see that work in English. I don't think he should translate it. Ines, I can at least see a reason. I'm not saying I'm encouraging it, but the song, the style itself allows itself to be translated. I'm just being objective here. Don't hate. Okay, don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. You know what I mean. Yes. Anita is saying, at the moment, I like Karma, but but that might change. But there are actually a lot of good songs. There are good songs in Albania. I would agree with that. And I'm hoping for the live performances, because they can often make a big difference. So that's what we have about Albania. Let's move on to our next topic. In case you haven't paid attention, Sweden has released the names of the 28 acts that are going to take part in Melodifestivalen. And they've released them, over the course of 3 days. And I just did a video a couple of days ago introducing all 28 acts, giving a quick rundown of who they are and what they're all about. And make sure to check that video out. And that was a lot of work, actually. But I like that kind of stuff anyway. I like the diving into the more detailed stuff. We have a bunch of names out there, returnees, some big names. Let me go through the list here real quick. The names that stand out, some of them is Anton Ewald, for instance. He took part a few times. Last time was in 2014, I think. And then he's gone really quiet. Like, he hasn't released a whole lot of music. And now this will be probably his big return. Avignana is back. They represented Eurovision, Sweden, in 1993 with Eloise, and they took part of a couple of years. They took part as well, and now they're back. A very popular Swedish band. Charla Perrelli, she won in 1999 with "Take Me to Your Heaven." I would play that song for you, but it always gets a copyright strike immediately. She also came back in 2008 with "Hero," and she's taken part a few times. And her last effort at Melodies was like 3 or 4 years ago. That song came last in the semis, so she can win it all or come dead last. Anything is possible with her. I think last time around she sang a very low-key Swedish song that just didn't have mass appeal, that was just really to promote her album. Now she's going with an English song again, written by Thomas Gison. We expect good things there probably, or at least successful, because Thomas Gison has the reputation, regardless of what you may think. Who else is in the running? Danny Saucedo. He took part 3 times in 2009 as part of EMD, and then in 2011 and 2012, he finished in second place every single time. The last time, though, it happened in 2012, he was quite upset about it because he really wanted to win, but it was the year of Lorraine, so that did not happen. So he took 9 years off, and now he's back, but he's performing in Swedish, I believe. So I don't necessarily think he's really going for the win. I think he has moved on from like the thought of going to Eurovision. I could be wrong, but that is what it looks like, because a song in Swedish hasn't won since the language changed, I think. Some of them had to be, I think, I'm trying to remember, right? Yeah, I think never a Swedish song has won. It could do well with the Swedish audience, but they have international juries. I don't think they would go with a Swedish song. Daughter is back, Little Tot. And you've sure now heard lots of fans here probably. She finished in second place. Oh my god, what a nail biter that was between her and the Mamas. And she was 1 point short of winning with Bulletproof. But that's how it goes. They tied in the jury vote, and then the Mamas got more votes in the televote. So it was fair and square, but it was just darn close. Oh my god. So she is back. Can she recreate the magic? Or was it a one-off thing? I think she can do it. We shall see. Who else? Some other names. Erik Saade. Erik Saade is back. In 2011, he went to Eurovision with Popular, finished in 3rd place. The last time he took part in Melodifestivalen was in 2015 with Sting. Did really well. Then he hosted in 2019, I believe, Melodifestivalen. And now they've been trying and lobbying to bring him back. And here he is. So another big name, Jessica Andersson, represented Sweden in 2003 as part of the duo Fame, finishing in 5th place. She has taken part on multiple occasions, has done really well, or at least qualifying almost every single time for the finals. The last time was with Party Boys. Oh, that was a banger. It was so much fun. It's so Swedish, but I loved it. Who else do we have? I'm not going to go for all of them, just some that say. Paul Ray, he did Talking in My Sleeve last year, and finished in 6th place. Now he's giving it another shot. Tess Merkel, she was part of Alcazar. This is her first solo effort at Melodifestivalen. And last but not least, the Mamas. The Mamas are back. The Mamas are back. They won Melodifestivalen 2020 with Move. Again, close, but they did, and they were ready to rock and roll. Well, not rock and roll, gospel-y away at Eurovision, and then it got canceled. Oh, and the Swedish team said, yeah, sorry, you gotta start over. And it sucks. It really sucks for them, but they said, okay, we got another great song. Let's try this again. And I am super excited that they get to get another shot. I love the song Move. I loved Bulletproof too, though, so it was a good top 2. So they are back as well, battling it out. Who are your favorites? Who are you most excited about? At ESC United in the chat. I would love to hear from you. Bailey Evans saying, since you're petitioning tonight, can you petition to get Melody Festival brought forward a month or two so we don't have to wait until March to find out the winner? Okay, I'm petitioning to have Melody Festivalen take place earlier than usual. Please, producers. And I know they're not going to do it. They are, whether or not you agree, but they are the poster child of national finals. So whatever else is on, the international fans will always flock to Melody Festival, and so they don't care. They want to be like the last ones or one of the last ones to reveal their song. They've always done it that way. That will not change. Would I prefer it maybe a couple of weeks earlier? Yes. But I know that's not going to happen. But I hear you. So that is really exciting. As far as who I'm excited about the most, I can't say for sure. There are a few names, of course, I'm excited to see and hear about. I always loved Alcazar, the band. Now Tessmaker coming as a solo artist. I don't know if she's going to be like in the spirit of Alcazar and gives us disco fun music, or if she's going a different route. But I'm very intrigued by that. I want to see what Danny has in store. Danny's music previously in the club and Amazing were not my kind of songs. I didn't like them at all. So now maybe he's going with something a little less, I don't even know how to describe his music. It's just a little less boy groupy, for the lack of a better word. It seems like maybe something different, and I'm excited about that. Of course, the Mamas, I'm stoked. So if I had to say who I'm excited about the most, is probably the Mamas. Linnea is saying, I look most forward for the return of Eric, Danny, and Anton Ewald. All the boys, well, not they're all boys anymore. And I know your taste here right now, what you're going for. I can see why that would definitely be your cup of coffee. I am wondering if the audience will be very biased towards the Mamas, regardless of the song, just due to the circumstances they found themselves in with the COVID-19 pandemic. It's like every topic is related to the pandemic, but it is a reality. So we have to wait and see about that. It is, it still sucks because if they don't make it, I would be very sad for them because they deserve it and it didn't happen. I was always a supporter of letting all the acts return, but that's all water under the bridge. Not much I can do about that. But I think I'm most excited about the Mamas and hope that they're going to have a fantastic song. The songs, don't bother looking them up online. They will not be released at any point in time until the actual semifinals. So like 3 days before the semifinals kick off, they will give us a 30-second snippet or so of the song and then a short clip of the rehearsals, and that's it. So just a few teasers here and there. That's it. So don't get your hopes up too much. But we got to be patient. No worries though, because Sweden is not the only country doing Eurovision National Finals. There's also a country called Estonia. Eesti Laul Jukusuviste won last year with What Love Is and was set to go, and he finally made it, and then Eurovision got cancelled. Seems like a recurring theme here, of course, with all of them. But even though he was not selected to represent Estonia by default, he was giving a automatic slot in the semifinals of Eesti Laul that he didn't have to be selected. He was giving that slot. The producers were saying actually once they heard the song, he would have made it anyway. So that is good to hear. That is probably not a bad song. The songs will be are being released right now tonight. They have been leaked, some of the demo versions apparently over the past 24 hours. So some of you may have checked them out already. I have not, because I will do a reaction video for those as well. But the official songs should also be released tonight. Check them out, listen to them, and then we'll talk about it. More Eurovision music. It is so exciting. It's finally something to look forward to. And we don't know what's going to happen, what kind of scenario we'll have at Eurovision, whether it's scenario 1, where it's going to be just like good old days, or if it's going to be scenario 4, where it's basically a shutdown. But regardless of the scenario, Eurovision will happen. Eurovision will happen. So, and that is the most important thing, and let's focus on that. And for people like me who usually travel to Eurovision, keep your fingers and toes crossed that things will be a little bit more under control at that point so that we can actually go, because another break would suck. It would suck so bad. It would suck so bad. Again, this is other things that are happening, and now that's all the topics I've had for the week, and now we can open it up to any questions you may have. And all you have to do is at ESC United in the chat if you want to, and I will do my best to answer them. Linnea is saying, did you like Natural back in 2014? Have you heard of any of Natalie Brudolf's performance from Swedish Idol? So, two questions. Very interesting, Linnea. When Natural was on in 2014, I hated that song. I'm like, this is dumb. I don't like it. And now I did that video, like the get to know the artist videos, and I listened to it again. I'm like, it's not that bad, actually. I don't know why I didn't like it that much. Maybe I was in a bad mood, or maybe I was just so on Team Alcazar that everything else sucked. I don't know. It's actually not that bad now thinking about it. But, yeah. So it's a decent song. I get why people would like it. I listened to Natalie's Brudolf's performance, one of them. She's good, as I was putting the clips together. So she's definitely a good singer. And there are a lot of new singers at Melodifestivalen, like the first time at Melodifestivalen, and a lot of them are from Swedish Idol and Sweden's Got Talent. So there seems to be a big market for that, which is very interesting. But that's, I guess, good. You know, they have a lot of good singers, so why leave them out? Laura C is asking, do you think Turkey will return to the competition soon? I miss them. I miss them too. I miss them dearly. I think they add so much unique sounds to the contest, and there's a reason why they do well, besides the obvious advantage in the televote. But looking past that, I just love their contribution to the contest. To answer the other question, I'm a realist, and realistically, I will say no. I'm not trying to go too political here, but there has to be a change in leadership there for it to in good leadership, that will embrace, you know, Eurovision and some of the culture that comes with it, if that makes any sense. I'm tiptoeing around some stuff here, tick, 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 tick. But, so that is certainly, not in the stars right now. Could it happen in the next 5 years? Potentially, but I don't see it in the next year or two. So that is definitely my opinion on that. Jocasta is asking, do you also have 4 scenarios of how you'll cover Eurovision? Well, I haven't done that yet, because here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen. Scenario 1, if that were to happen, which is meaning open like it usually, I will just go with the team, do our thing. Any of the other scenarios, this is all TBD. For instance, scenario 3 and 4, there's a good chance that I will not be able to go at all, right? There will be probably just me doing stuff again locally. So this whole covering the rehearsals, it won't be the same. It won't be happening. So that would suck. So I am actually dreading that scenario. Scenario 2, which is like social distancing Eurovision, it'll still take place. There will be less audience. There will be still events, but less events. There will be still a press, but less press. I don't know what that all means. So anything but scenario 1 would be all just, you know, play it by ear kind of thing. But if I can go, scenario 2, let's say, instead of getting the whole team, we only get 1 or 2 tickets. We will just mostly do what we've done before and just have to work our butts off. That's basically what it is. But I will go. If I can go, I will go. If I can't go, then it depends. Can press maybe listen into the rehearsals through a stream or something like that? Or are we completely cut out? Then there's not much I can do. Then I'll just do live streams and do as much entertainment with me and my team as humanly possible. So, but it's very difficult to do that. But stay tuned more for that. And before I answer the next question, again, at ESC United, if you have any other questions, make sure to post them. I gotta drink something real quick. I've been talking for 45 minutes without a sip of water. Next question. When did you start ESC United? Would love to hear how you came with the idea for it. Okay, no one ever asked me that question. It's a very interesting one, actually, because it kind of fell into my lap. So, just so you go back a long time ago, in 2005 and 6, I was just part of a community, a forum. It was basically the official forum for ESC Today, right? And I just was a regular loser. I am a loser. A regular user. And then I was promoted to become a moderator. And at some point, I became a co-admin. And then I became the owner of it, because the other admins disappeared. And I'm like, I didn't want to even do that on my own. And so I had to start my own website. I'm like, okay, I had my website was called esctodayforum.com. And in October 2009, I completely took over. And we were just the official website or forum on ESC Today, and there was a link, and that's how we got traffic. Then those who've been around long enough, they may remember in 2012, there was a huge, they got hacked, ESC Today, by apparently people in Azerbaijan, and completely destroyed their website and all their links. It didn't affect us because we were on a different server, my own server, but ESC Today had to start from scratch. And at that point, I think they had change in leadership, and we were unable to reconnect with whoever was new. And we're like, oh shoot, we got to go our separate ways now. What am I going to do with my forum? So I just decided, okay, I'm just going to create my own website and call it a name. Let's just call it ESC United, because I'm from the United States and I want to unite people, blah, 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 right? I'll just put that out there and like, well, maybe I can even get to Eurovision as a press. Let me try that. And I applied, and I got 2 tickets, and then it just kind of took off from there. That's basically, in a nutshell, how it happened. And then here I am, 11 years later. It's fun, and I just love it. It keeps me connected to my roots, my European roots, and I love going back every year and spend some time and meet everyone. It's wonderful. Next question. Ireland never opened song submissions this year. Do you think they already chose Leslie and haven't announced it yet, or are they just trying something new? Olivia, I ask because Ireland is one of the few countries, only a handful of countries left or so, who have not made an announcement whether they're going to go with a national final or a different singer. We don't know at all. So I do think there is a slight chance that Leslie could return. It's a 50-50 shot. Those who watched my reaction videos and my favorite videos, they know how much I loved Ireland's song last year. Give me some good old Kelly Clarkson fun. So that is, I think there's a 50% shot that it could happen. But I'm not convinced. It could be somebody else. So, I know there's not a very helpful answer. My nose is tickling. Like I'm going to sneeze any moment. But this is where I am right now. I've been not in between. So, yeah. So, this is what we have for now. And I'll be back soon with more news. And I really appreciate everyone's thoughts. And I just am so ready for this Eurovision thing to get busier and busier. It's like not much to do. Right? We're all kind of stuck at home for the most part. I'm sure it varies by country, wherever you're from, or even by area. But for the most part, every country has certain limitations. And I live in Southern California. We have strict regulations right now. Everything is closed down. Now, if you cannot go to a restaurant, I mean, you can pick up food. That's about it. And most places are closed. Schools are closed. Barbershops are closed. Everything is closed down. So anyway, the point is, I am just really ready to focus on something positive and optimistic. And my 2 favorite things in the world, distractions, are video games and Eurovision. So those are the 2 things I use to make myself happy. Of course, friends, but social life kind of is right now. So that's kind of out of the water here. So I am just looking forward to all of this. And as far as like the rest of the Eurovision season is concerned, in 2019, I went to like the Amsterdam concert, I forgot the name, Eurovision concert, the London Eurovision party. I went to all of that and it was so much fun. But I don't know, and I don't think these will take place next year again because it's like even earlier, and I could see there being a lot of concerns about, exposure, so that may not be possible. But I'm just hoping that we have stuff to look forward to because I need it. We all need it. And I've seen there's it's very difficult right now, in case you've noticed, to bring people back to Eurovision. A lot of casuals or just, after Eurovision was canceled, they kind of just drifted off and they haven't come back yet. And I am doing my part to get people excited again. I'm glad that you're all here watching, listening, whatever you're doing. But it is definitely the slowest things have been. And I know it's not just for me, it's for a lot of people within the Eurovision community. So we all gotta just stick together and get people excited, promote the contest as much as possible. At least we had the movie, that gave us a little bit of extra exposure, especially here in the United States. Whether or not they're going to watch it remains to be seen. But the 2020 Song Contest was planned to be put on Netflix, so I have every reason to believe that 2021 will be on Netflix as well. So bring some viewers in there. Although don't worry, I am not promoting United States to take part. Not a thing. So fingers and toes crossed for the Netherlands and Eurovision that it'll happen. I mean, it will happen, but I want to go. I said it in my last stream last week that I already have a room. Not just a room, I got an apartment within technically walking distance, although I'm just going to grab a bike or take the train. I'll be there in like 7 minutes. I'm just want to go. I just want to go. I don't care. I do care. I don't want to say I don't care, but I just am so eager just to get things done. Anyway, those are the things that I wanted to share with you. I will be back next week with our next live stream. I want to thank everyone for watching and be back. And if any major news come up, make sure I will put up videos as well. But the next live stream will be in a week from now. I put up a poll to see if Friday or Saturday works best. Some people saying Friday. Some people are saying Saturday. And we'll have to wait and see how that's going to pan out. Bailey Evans is saying, okay, we really need to know what video games you play. Well, right now, first of all, I'm trying to get the PlayStation 5, which is hard to do because there's like a big run for it. I want to get it before Christmas. I like modern games, new games. My favorite game right now for the past 2 or 3 years has been Red Dead Redemption. I love that game to pieces. I love good graphics. I love good storylines. If you ever heard of the game Detroit Become Human, I love that game, but I also love Mortal Kombat. I love Final Fantasy. I love role-playing games. I'm not big into like shooter games like and then, although I did like, there's some good ones. I like a lot of games. I do like a lot of games. So, but I haven't played as much because, I don't know why. I kind of lost the... There isn't a big Eurovision gamer community, right? There are not a lot of Eurovision fans that play games. So I'm like, why are there no gamers out there? So that is maybe a niche. I'm thinking right now, maybe that is a niche. Maybe I could start my own gaming channel for Eurovision people, but that's too nichey, I guess. Gaming is a niche, Eurovision is a niche, so it's a niche of a niche. So maybe I'm pushing it just a little. So, what are your plans for Christmas? I understand it's a complicated situation to plan for. Linnea's asking. Yes, so we are all under a lockdown here, so we're technically, okay, I shouldn't say that on camera, but we are supposed to only hang out with the people in our household for the next 3 weeks. So I think it may be lifted by Christmas, I don't know. But I have family here, and both families are, my side and their side, we're all quarantined basically. Not legally because we're not sick or anything, but we pretend as we're quarantined so that we can come together on Christmas and spend together because no one will have zero exposure 5 minutes from where I live. So that's all I'm going to do, and that is going to be nice and exciting. Anyways, I'm moving on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week. live, and you can watch me doing some stupid videos. Maybe not stupid, fun videos, whatever you want to call it. Until then, have a good day, and bye-bye.